Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, the Duelist Cup is returning, and I want to give you the best opportunities to climb as quickly and as efficiently as possible to potentially get the just overall best scores that you can, potentially even getting into the top 100. I don't know if that's going to do anything, but hey, it'll be cool, right? I don't know. Anyway, this is basically going to be a tier list specifically designed for the Duelist Cup, which the meta is a little bit different from even just regular ladder. Even though it's best of ones, winning quickly is way more advantageous than having a high win rate. So with that in mind, let's jump into this. Now, this isn't every deck, and I also didn't make this tier list, so not every deck's here, and maybe some decks that you have questions about, you could drop a comment to ask me, hey, what are your thoughts on this deck? And I'll tell you whether or not it's even worth playing. So yeah, let's quickly hop into this. Starting off with Branded. I think this is pretty simple. I think this will probably be the best deck to play. It has a quick enough way to win with being consistent and most importantly having a high win rate. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I think this might be the best deck, but I have another cog turning in my brain that might be better. So there's that. Dragon Link takes a little bit too long to actually win, but has a really high win rate. So I think that this deck, honestly, could see quite some success. So do be on the lookout for Dragon Link. I think it will be significantly worse than it actually is in on like a regular ladder, but still is able to do some work. I'd actually probably just drop it down to tier 2 just due to the fact that it wins so slowly in comparison. No. I'm also going to put Spiral in the same tier. I don't think they're quite tier 2. They just win so well. They're able to combo through a lot. And if you're able to combo quickly and efficiently, you could probably take these to really high heights. Spiral in particular, I think, has higher heights that it could potentially reach with a really good duelist. But again, for general consumption, this is not really the greatest of decks. Next up, we have Pendulum Magician stuff. This combo also takes a while, and it's decent for certain, but it's not crazy. I'm going to put it in Rogue. It just takes a little bit too long. Doesn't really do a whole lot. Sword Soul is one of the best decks. Being able to lock your opponent out with something like Protoss, being able to just straight up do your combos pretty consistently and easily. And again, similar to Branded, being able to win quickly is very nice. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Phantom Knights have a similar issue to the other two, however, they're even more inconsistent, while also having long combos, which means that they're going to lose a lot more due to dead hands, and they're going to have to play a lot more games, they're going to play a lot less games due to the fact that their combos do take longer, so they're not going to win as much just due to the hard nature of bricking a little bit more. Well, sure, these two decks can brick, it's a lot less common, and like Spiral can also combo going second, whereas like Phantom Knights can't do that as much. So I'm gonna put it in tier 2 just for this event. Eldritch doesn't actually do all that well, just due to how slowly it can win. But I expect people to be surrendering against this quite a lot. But yeah, it just does kind of lose or win slowly and also lose slowly. So it's really going to take up a lot of time. Which in a format where it is solely based on how much you duel and not necessarily how high your win rate is, having a really good win rate but not as many games played is going to matter. Sky Striker is just not good in this event. It's not bad, but like I don't expect this to do very well. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's a control strategy. It plays slow. It doesn't really win quickly. There's that. Umi Control I'm also going to put in tier 2. It's a better control strategy that can just kind of like blow your opponent out and get a lot of really quick surrenders because you're just going to win the game eventually, but it doesn't actually do a whole lot in terms of OTKing. Numeron Network I'm going to put at the top above Umi Control of tier 2. I don't think it's overpowered. I think just the lack of consistency for Numeron OTK is just not enough. Yeah, that's mostly it. And when you're playing up against a lot of the decks that have a favorable matchup, either going first or going second, yeah, I don't expect this to do exceptional. Labyrinth will do okay. Honestly, I'm going to put it below Sky Striker. I'm also going to put Runic right there. Both of these decks are slow, control-focused decks that don't really have high attack stats. In fact, Runic is probably one of the slowest decks that we've seen in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! It wins on turn, like, 30. It has a game plan that it can execute, and it can really control the game, but it's slow. Again, Duelist Cup really heavily just focuses on that speed. Being able to get more games is more important. Dark Magician, if you can... Actually, I'm going to put Dark Magician up here. Dark Magician can play so many floodgates that you can just very easily just win with it randomly out of nowhere. I don't expect it to do good, but floodgates are floodgates. So there you go. Shaddoll. Shaddoll is one of the rare control decks that wins quickly. Unlike a lot of these other ones, Shaddoll has a lot of power behind its punch, especially like the Dogmatica Shaddoll, or the Dogmatica Invoked Shaddoll variants. However, this may be my own bias, but I do think that Shaddoll has a lot of merit in this current meta, as well as, more specifically, I think that it is able to put up some really powerful interactions and basically lock your opponent out of the game pretty easily. Alright, next up we have Dogmatica. Yeah, I don't expect this to do very good. Honestly, this is a pretty bad deck by itself. Yes, when paired with Invoked and Shaddoll, it's fine, but honestly, I don't think, like, more specifically the like ritual style, yeah, I don't know. Not very good. Flunder. I think I underestimated Flunder when I put it in tier 2. I think Flunder can still win quickly. It can still control games. It can go first. It can go second. It's still very strong. And while it's not going to have as many just like dominant wins, going first is still like a death sentence against most decks because of how much it can actually do. Being able to flip your opponent's cards face down, being able to go into an Apex Avian or a Mega Raiza, M-Pen by itself can just like straight up win games. So yeah, I'm going to actually put this in... I'm going to put it below Eldritch. I think Eldritch is a little bit better, but Virtual World can still do quite a lot. Shen Shen is still a really good card. Its combos are quick and easy, and so if you're able to do that consistently, I still think that it has a good shot. I'll put it in tier 2. Salamangreat is also a... Its combo is kind of long, but also it's not really that long, and it can OTK really well through the access code transcode talker stuff, or not transcode talker, update jammer stuff. So it has a very good way of just like OTKing. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in. Yeah, it just wins quickly. It's consistent. It's able to slow the opponent down with hand traps. It can control the duel with like Heat Soul if you need to, but most importantly, it just is able to like access code update jammer, which is really nice. Marincess, sometimes you just don't have an out to that card. Yeah, Marincess just having an unaffected monster can just win games. People won't have the out to that. They'll just immediately scoop. You'll get some free points. Cyber Dragon can OTK, but not very well. Tri-Brigade. Is there a Zodiac on here? Okay. Zodiac is on here. I'm still going to put Tri-Brigade in tier 1. I think Tri-Brigade has a great just opportunity in these events. And the simple reason, is that the combos are pretty short, all things considered. Similar in nature to the Branded and the Sword Soul stuff. It's short combos that are consistent, that are able to interact with the opponent in high impact ways, while also being able to play hand traps or other tech cards for whatever the meta may throw at them. Really high impact, you can play it with a wide variety of variants, but yeah, I'm just going to kind of slot them in there. We'll talk about some of the other variants in particular later, but this would be more of like a more pure-esque variant. You could run like the Adventure Engine and DPE and stuff like that along with this, and it'd still be pretty good. Adamancipator has a similar problem to Dragon Link and Spiral. I'm actually going to put it below below these two. Still incredibly strong. Block Dragon is a house, but the combo takes a little bit too long. However, being able to get guaranteed wins is still really good. And a lot of decks and a lot of players will probably just surrender if your combo is going to go off guaranteed, which means you probably won't even have to do the combo half the time. But with that in mind, sometimes you will if they have the out, like a Dark Ruler or something like that, but sometimes you'll just get a free win. Tritron has similar issues, but again, a free win is a free win. I'm actually going to put this below Shadal. Yeah. Just being able to like go through your combos and on a big negate board is probably enough, but with a lot more people playing things like Forbidden Droplets, Dark Ruler No More, evenly matched, not evenly matched, kaijus and the like, especially during this event, I think that this will be less advantageous. Guru Control is a personal least favorite of mine, but I still think it has a good control option. The problem is it wins so slowly. It wins more slowly than I think even like Labyrinth and such, but it's not as slow as Runic. So there's that. You can go like with the Subterror, or with the Subterror trap that allows you to like boost your monsters. But other than that, it's not really great. It's just kind of Floodgate control, but slow. Earth Machine, I'm honestly going to put at the top of tier 2. Being able to just wipe your opponent's board with Citadel, while also having access to powerful OTK options with the trains, and just a solid, easy, not easy, but a solid, pretty simple, or not simple, quick combo that you can do. Not terrible. I still think that the combo is a little bit too long in comparison to like the tier 1 decks, but it still has a lot of really good options. And yeah, that's basically it. No, we're going to put this at the top of tier 2. I think it's better than Citadel. Crusadia OTK is really good. Okay, I'm actually going to put it below Numeron. It's still really good, but being able to OTK in this format is so much more valuable. If you can play a deck that goes second, you will probably be able to win a lot more of your games, especially if you are able to OTK. But if your deck can only OTK, that's where issues start to arise. A lot of the decks at the top, more specifically these four, Flunder and these three, all can go first or second and still have good consistency and good playmaking. So there's that. Orcus, the combo is nice. It's a little bit of a control deck, but you can still OTK. I'm going to put it below Kairyoshin. I think it's a little bit more powerful than something like Phantom Knights, just due to the fact that the combo is significantly shorter. Unless you're hitting dangers, then it may be a little bit longer. But all things considered, being able to just slow your opponent down and then access code for game is pretty nice. Zombie control is good, but I do think that Marin's is a little bit better and Numeron is a little bit worse. Yeah, that seems about right. The problem or the advantage of this deck is the fact that it basically wins against things like these two. Flunder, you can't tribute summon, and Sword Soul, you need worms. So being able to prevent your opponent from actually utilizing those cards is nice. But the main thing is, like, it's a control strategy, a little bit too slow. Still could have a really good win rate, though. Luna Kaiju is probably the best going second deck, aka 8 Axis, aka Draglubion into Numeron Dragon into OTK. It's an insane deck. It's an insane power level. Being able to OTK more efficiently than a lot of the other decks, and most notably being more consistent, is what really brings it over the top. Numeron could probably OTK better, same with Crusadia, same with even some of these other decks, but it's the fact that it does it as consistently with as many board breakers as it does that really makes things problematic. Also, I think just having access to like non-straight up lethal damaging moves or cards is pretty nice. Life Twin exists. Honestly, Life Twin's not really that good. I'm going to put them at the top of Rogue. I don't think they're quite tier 2. They're just, they can like slow down, but they can't really OTK. I think that's the biggest issue, is that the way that the Live Twin cards work is that it's so difficult for them to actually OTK the opponent that it gives them a lot of opportunities to just lose to like hard top decks and stuff like that. Sure, hand trap control is nice, but you still have to do more than that. Endymion is probably the best of the Pendulum decks. I'm going to put it above Marincess. Endymion's good. Its combo is too slow, but it can set up an unbreakable board. So there's that. Madolche is pretty bad, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to put it below... I'm going to put it below... Subterror. No, above. It's definitely above Labyrinth. The combo takes a while. It's not unbreakable. And it really doesn't OTK all that efficiently. It can OTK, but it's not like the easiest to OTK. And it doesn't have like a solid control game either. So, yeah. And the bad time for comboing and like finishing your combo. Heroes have legitimately one of the longest combos, and it makes me want to put them at the bottom. But the thing is, they do have the ability to just like straight up Dark Law, DPE, Plasma you entirely out of the game, which is something. And they could potentially OTK. Like if the hero players actually decided to step away from the stupid DPE Plasma control and actually play the OTK strategies in Master Duel, they would have a lot more success. It is so difficult to out OTK strategies, going second strategies. Are they going to do that? No. So they're going to go in Rogue. Next up, we have ourselves Thunder Dragon. Thunder Dragon is good, but not great. They're a little bit inconsistent. Sure, they can get to Colossus pretty efficiently, but other than that, they're not the best. They also don't OTK exceptionally well. They can easily, but sometimes they just don't do anything. So I'm gonna put them in tier 2. They can straight up win you the game with like, if you go up against Flunder, what does your opponent do against a Colossus? So there's that. Obviously you can play it with Branded and then it becomes significantly better, but yeah. Adagnister. Adagnister is going to go in tier 2 above Earth Machine. Yes. It's Marincess, but better. Being able to go for a 6,000 attack point monster that is unaffected by everything your opponent does is really good in a best of one format that is specifically centered around winning quickly, which means a lot of people won't just try and wait to get their out. They'll see the 6,000 attack point monster and just scoop, right? They'll just be like, okay, I don't have the out. Let's go next, and then you get a whole bunch of free wins. Scareclaw is a stupid dumb deck that is able to OTK while also being able to go first and have like pretty decent success. I don't think it's at that high. I don't think it's that high. No. I think it's a better Numeron, basically. You just OTK your opponent. It's really dumb. You can make Maguska, you can make the Triheart, and you just kind of win. Dumb deck, I hate it. Dynamorphia is a control deck that just doesn't work. I'm going to put it down here. Same with Altergeist. Same with Trickstar. Geomathmech is kind of a house. Mathmechs are okay. If you can make Final Sigma, it's decent. But honestly, until Circular comes out, they're not really going to be doing much. And even with Circular, they're probably not going to be doing much. B-Troopers are a thing. Lyrilisk's Tri-Brigade or Lyrilisk's in general, are really good. Their combos are long, but they can make their combos significantly shorter. They can sit on things like Revolt and some of their other Xyz. They're able to really heavily win games and like just like straight up lock your opponent out of the game a lot of times. And they're able to just also play the Tri-Brigade stuff, which means that their combos can be shorter while still having consistency. So I'm going to put them above Dragon Link. Maybe they're not as good. Maybe they're not as likely to win, but I think that they win a little bit quicker, and they're able to win almost more dominantly as well. It seems like if they go uninterrupted, they're way stronger than the Dragon Link's end board, but they don't have as much like follow-up. If that makes sense. Prank Kids are still a deck that exists for some reason. I'm going to put them below... their combos are so slow. I'm going to put them at the top of Rogue. They're they're still good. Their combos just take too long, and they're a lot more inconsistent. Predaplants! Exosister! Okay, Zodiac is probably the best deck for this format. Zodiac Tri-Brigade in particular. Being able to go slap down a Zodiac, go into Zeus, wipe your opponent's field going second, or being able to go and, like, sit on Trident, sit on a Revolt, and pass in, like, 2 seconds is absolutely insane. You can get just a crazy amount of games in. You can win consistently. You can go first. You can go second. There is not a lot of downside to this in this format. It might be the best deck. This is more so me kind of being a little bit biased towards this deck because it is Tri-Brigade. Hip hip hooray. But, I mean, obviously this wouldn't be like Zodiac, but more so Tri-Brigade Zodiac. It might be. This is my guess. This could be the thing that people play to win the most. But then again, it could just be branded. But I do think to watch out for this one. Trap Trick is so terrible. Same with this one. Same with Red Eyes. Oh my gosh. Code Talker can OTK pretty efficiently. The problem is that they're not able to do that consistently. If they're able to get to their access code and their co-link boards and stuff like that, maybe they're good. Probably not, though. I'm actually going to put them here. Witchcrafter is so bad in these events. Witchcrafter is a control strategy that is entirely focused on slowing the game down, and they don't really have a great way of OTKing unless your opponent has monsters on their side of the field, which most of the time, well, they can, but also it still doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be able to OTK, and more specifically, your game plan is just too slow. It's just not quite fast enough, so there's that. I mean, if you pair this with Tri-Brigade, it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Tri-Brigade is really good in these events. But I'm still gonna put it in. I'm actually gonna put it down here. This is a terrible deck. So yeah, here are the overall lists. Way different from what we had in the previous list with more specifically the climb up to Diamond 1 for the ladder, just what are the best decks. This is very different. This is more so you want to win quickly, you want to have a good win rate, and you want to be able to go first and go second, and just like knock out any of those inconsistencies. And then like OTKing is a lot more valuable as well, which a lot of these decks can do. So there's that. Yeah, all things considered, this is probably the biggest one that could be very different. It could, but I am almost certain that this is a tier 1 deck. It's going to be one of the best decks for this, just due to the nature of how it works. Is it the best deck? Arguable. Same with this one. Arguable. Again, I'm biased. I'm going to say that right now. I could be wrong. Do I care? No. Anyway, so that's going to be it for this list. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.